guys. Hi. So, I decided to answer your questions via YouTube so that it's just easier for me to find time to do YouTube than to write on a blog. So, while Lotus naps, I'm going to start with a question I got from Naturally Alien. And it says, your journey to becoming a mama, conception, pregnancy, birth, etc. Would you have another Lotus birth? How has becoming parents affected your relationship with your partner? Anything on motherhood. So, yeah, I really wanted to talk about this subject because it's my favorite. So, honestly, the conception was conscious, and we decided that we were ready to have a child, and it just really felt right. You know, like growing up or being a young woman, you feel like, or at least I felt like, it had to be the right time. I had to have a certain amount of money and be living in the perfect place. And in Florida, I felt good about where we were living. We were living in a tiny house. I was like, we could totally have a kid in a tiny house. Like, this is doable. And despite what mainstream society might say, like, we don't need a lot of stuff. Like, it doesn't cost a lot to have a baby. Like, we were all about minimalism. And we had our farm in Florida, so we thought it would be a really good time to have a baby because we're growing food. It'll be the healthiest organic grown food, and that's, you know, we want the best for our child. So everything lined up, and I think that was very meant to be. Even though we're not in Florida anymore, I feel like that was meant to be. We were meant to get pregnant and have our baby in Florida. That was just our divine plan, our destiny. So the conscious conception, I basically read a bunch of books, and I'll show you those books in another video. And I also did tons of research I knew how I wanted to give birth. I had been inspired years before by someone who had done an unassisted free birth and a Lotus birth, you know, so at home, in water. So I already knew that was what I wanted to do. It was just a matter of preparing. So I did all my research, and I was very confident. So we got pregnant right away from after trying. And then my partner and I went early on in the first trimester to a hypnobirthing class locally. And it was a very nice lady. We met some nice other pregnant ladies. But it was funny because my partner was the only male in the class, even though, you know, hypnobirthing is kind of designed with a partner in mind, or a doula or something, to help in the labor process. So my partner was so supportive and cute, and he enjoyed the hypnobirthing class because there was a lot of meditating and breathing, and it was a very relaxing experience. So he loved it. And I used the hypnobirthing CDs. I listened to them every night before bed for my whole pregnancy, and I feel like subconsciously that probably helped with my labor. Even though it's like once I went into labor, a lot of those techniques just didn't come to mind. You know, I didn't think to do a lot of those techniques with my partner. I didn't want him to really touch me or massage me. It was just I was in my own world when I was in labor. And our labor was 11 hours from the first contraction to the last. So I'll tell you the story. It's kind of funny. It was September 8th. She was due October 10th. So September 8th, my water broke in the middle of the night. And I was like, well, I don't think my water broke. I think I'm just maybe leaking fluid or something. And my doula friend said, you're probably going to go into labor the next 48 hours. And I was like, no, it's too early. I don't think so. But I wasn't like worried, you know. I wasn't like, oh my God, my water broke. Like, I need to go to the doctor or the hospital. Something's wrong. I never thought that. I was just like, whatever. Like, I don't think anything's wrong. But then that whole day, September 9th, I was leaking a lot of fluid throughout the day. So I was like, crap, like, this this is, I think, really gonna happen soon. But I was still not tripping. And then went to bed that night, and about midnight, contractions started. And it's just like so funny because I don't remember freaking out. Like, I thought I would. Not freak out in a bad way, but just freak out in like an excited way. Like, oh my God, I'm having a baby now. Like, contractions started. My partner was with me in bed, and he stayed up all night, you know, counting my contractions and measuring them. And I just laid in bed. I tried to rest, you know, because I was expecting like at least 24-hour labor, like they say with your first baby. And so I was like, okay, I just need to rest. But it felt really good to be on my hands and knees. So sometimes I'd have to get out of bed and rock on my hands and knees, and it just felt good that way. And I labored and so that morning, as soon as the sun came up, my partner got up and started filling up the birth pool. And we had set it up outside. So it was September 10th in Florida. It was still hot and humid, so it was perfect for an outdoor birth. And I had always wanted an outdoor birth. Never knew of anybody that had one, but I just thought that was something awesome. Your baby's first breath is outside in the fresh air, surrounded by trees. And so I labored outside, and you know, the birds were cheering me on, and it was just a beautiful experience. So basically, she was born in water at 1:42 p.m. And so since she was early, she was perfectly healthy though. I mean, she was small. I don't know how she weighed because I didn't weigh her. I didn't have a doula or a midwife, so nobody weighed her. But she was tiny. She was maybe, I would guess, 7 pounds. I was born 10 pounds. So I was fully expecting if I'd gone to full term, a big baby. So, you know, it's kind of a blessing in disguise to have a small baby because it was an easy birth. But she came out underwater, and my partner was in the water with me and helped me receive her. And she had a really short umbilical cord. So when she came out, it was wrapped around her neck like once. And so we just pulled it off and then put her on my chest, and she had her eyes open right away. I have distinct memory of her eyes being open under the water, looking up at me. So magical, and I wish I could relive that moment, but it's in my memory forever. And then, so as soon as she was on my chest, she was breathing, did a little cry, but didn't cry a lot, and my partner jumped out of the water and started recording me. So I have a sweet little video of right after she was born, and I was just like oxytocin high. And so it was funny because we called our parents a little bit after that. I found out she was a girl because we didn't know it was a girl. I was like, oh my God, it's a girl. I honestly thought it was going to be a boy. So when it was a girl, I was like, oh my gosh, so cool. What a surprise. And so we called our parents, and that was a surprise because they weren't expecting me to go into labor yet. I didn't tell anybody my water had broke 2 days ago or that I was in labor because I didn't want to worry my parents. And so when she was born healthy and perfect, we called them up, and my mom, my dad, Austin's mom, and his dad was there, you know, on the property. So he was in his house, and so he knew I was in labor, and he helped Austin set up the birthing pool and stuff. So he was so excited. He came over and saw Lotus and was like, oh my gosh, it's a girl. And I was in the water with her for almost 2 hours before the placenta was birthed, and I didn't really know. I kind of assumed the placenta just comes out on its own, but I had to wait for a contraction. My doula friend told me that I need to push the placenta out when I have a contraction. So I just got out of the water at that point, and the placenta came right out. And we did the Lotus birth, and so we had the placenta in a bowl, and I put herbs on it. I put dried lavender, rosemary, sage, rose petals, and some Himalayan pink salt. So her placenta and umbilical cord stayed attached to her until the umbilical cord fell off naturally 4 days later.